Yes, people, welcome back to Mission Podcast, and it's the start of a new era on our channel. Yes, we're gonna try, and keyword is try. You know what us packers are like; we're very unreliable, but we're gonna try introduce like a weekly wrestling roundup sort of show, talking the latest news and stuff like that from the world of wrestling. We're a bunch of marks, really, that think we know it all about the business. We think we know all the ins and outs, but thought, yeah, why not? Let's try to produce more regular wrestling content. So here it is. We still don't know the name of the show because like most of these names are fucking taken. There's so many wrestling podcasts and YouTube channels out there. But yeah, we'll figure out a name. But anyways, this is episode 1 of the Roundup show, and I'm joined by my very special co-host DK Danny. How are you today?
I'm fine, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because normally we do wrestling shows like after the pay-per-view or before the pay-per-view. We said, why not let's try and get weekly, we'll try our best to get, weekly content out for wrestling. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I think the first place we want to start is with Mr. Bill Goldberg himself. So obviously recently he's had his retirement match on Saturday night's main event against Gunter. Decent little match, I thought, for what it was. And yeah, it's more of what happened afterwards. So Goldberg was meant to have like this big retirement speech, and they kind of cut it short because they were going off the air. And yeah, Goldberg, he's not very happy about it at all. He's just come on the Ariel Helwani show, and he's pissed off, which I don't blame him. I would be too. I don't know about you. I'd be fucking fuming. That's
Listen,
my
of course you'd be fuming if you are. Listen, people might not like Goldberg now, yeah, but back in the day, he was one of the biggest attractions in wrestling. And some guy like that, of course, he'd probably want to go out on a higher note. And the match, I think, was fine. If you just take off the match, I think that's a good match to go out against Gunther. I think he did his spots right. He didn't mess up anything apart from inching the referee. But that happens in wrestling. It's not really a big deal. But yeah, I kind of get where he's coming from. I'd be pissed if my last ever wrestling match was, you know, the actual speech was cut short. Then they had to put it on the YouTube for 10 minutes. I remember because the match I watched this live, so the match actually finished, and then Goldberg, he was in the ring. Then I found it weird because they went straight to commercial. I was like, okay, are they not gonna give Goldberg a speech here? And then they came back on. I was like, okay, this is where we actually get the Goldberg speech. The guy spoke for about 30 seconds and bang, back off air, and then I was like, that's really weird. Some reports have been saying, oh, it might have been because of the Seth injury, which we'll come on to later, that, they had to kind of, you know, reshuffle the card and some of the timings were off. That's why they couldn't give
I
Goldberg his
don't
time.
buy
I think that's all BS. I don't buy that. I just feel like, the company just didn't want Goldberg to have his speech proper. And there's one thing about the speech, and the other thing I think he spoke about the match. It was on 3 weeks' notice. He didn't really like how we went out. I mean, I don't blame him. No one wants to go out on a Saturday night main event. We're talking about that. John Cena's going to be returning on a Saturday night main event as well, which I'm scared of. I don't really want him returning on that show.
that.
But yeah, don't really blame him.
I mean, Saturday night main event. Yeah, when they first brought it back, I thought, okay, this is a cool idea. But now, like, how long has it been now since they had it? Six
One,
months
two,
or
three. It's the fourth one. Just finished the fourth one.
fourth one? Yeah, you're just kind of tired of it now. It's just such an irrelevant thing.
Bro, the adverts are so
The
annoying.
adverts are criminal, man. It's not good. They need to change it up. It's like I don't know if Triple H is usually a very chronically online guy, so I don't know if he's like seeing
Yeah.
all the backlash there is and criticism there is of Saturday night's main event. Like surely they got to do something, man. And yeah, I don't blame Goldberg at all. Like regardless of how you feel about him, I know he's not very popular amongst the IWC, but he is a legend whether we like it or not. Yeah, and he did deserve to go out in a much better way than he did. Like in his prime, yeah, obviously we weren't really around for seeing him in WCW, but
Yeah.
bro, that's the definition of aura. His everything, his whole look, his entrance. When the security guy used to knock on his door and he used to come out, the theme,
Yeah.
go, but the crowd is going, go, but bro, it was insane. The undefeated streak that he had, the your next catchphrase. Bro, Goldberg is a legend, whether we like it or not. One person I think probably was a fan of this was probably Bret, the Hitman Hart. He was probably in his Lex Luthor bag, bro, with that hate watch. He was like, yes. One last thing to say about Goldberg. In his last ever match, he botched something, which is quite fitting, isn't it, for his career really. But listen, I don't know, man. I think Goldberg's really been rubbed the wrong way, and it's kind of a stupid thing to do from WWE because, in my opinion, look at Goldberg's son, Gage. Yeah, I'm telling you, that guy is so. I can see him in WWE in the future. Obviously, I think he's doing football right now, but most footballers they end up in WWE anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that's a guy they could have had and been like, yeah, he could be like a next after Bron Breakker from football to WWE. And I think
Mm.
now with the way they've done his dad, I don't know if he's going to be so keen on signing with WWE. But yeah, it is what it is. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, another thing happened. Unfortunate thing. Seth Rollins has picked up an injury, Mr. Money in the Bank, and it's not a work. Well, we don't really know, to be fair, but I think it's most safe to say it's not a work. Yeah, man. He landed very badly on his knee. You can tell as soon as he landed, it was fucked. Yeah, and then I don't know. What do you think about Danny? This is Seth's number one fan.
Listen, this has been really weird saga with his injury. First, when it happened, I was watching the match live at the time, and the way he landed that way lots of times. I didn't think anything of it first. I thought, okay, he's landed, he's probably just selling it. And then he went to the corner with Paul Heyman, and the referee came, which I found a bit weird. Normally they hold up the X sign, if someone's injured. And then he just got straight back up and he took the BFT from LA Knight, giving LA Knight the win. And I found that really weird. Normally when someone's injured and they, faking it, I expected Seth to, get back up, hit the stomp, or Bronson to come interfere and Seth wins that way. He's a heel. He has to win a heel way. And then he just, lost to Elena clean. I found that really weird. And then more reports start coming out. Some people were saying, "Oh, what if this is a ruse? He cashes in on Gunther and wins the belt." That was possible. That could have happened. But after the show finished, then and we got no cash in, I think more wrestling outlets started reporting, "Oh, this is a legitimate injury. He did actually get injured." The original plan was to have LA Knight lose to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was meant to win that match, and then we like, okay, this is a shame. He was basically the center point of the company right now. He's got, I'd say, about five, six stories revolving around him. If you lose someone like Seth, you can have to pivot a lot, like, change your whole mid event scene on Raw. And then something weird happened on Monday. I think a report came out. John Pollock, a guy I've never heard about, but apparently he's really reliable. He said that he was told on 2, 3 days before the event that they were going to do a Seth injury angle and he was gonna, take an injury and be on crutches. Um, you know what? I was thinking of this at first, like, okay, this can't be true. The company are not gonna try to do an angle like that. I just found that so weird. Like the whole thing's been so weird. Normally when someone gets injured, 2, 3 days later, okay, it's an ACL, it's an MCL, he's out for this amount of months. I remember Seth's first injury back in November 2015. The next day, they knew it was an ACL. In 2024, yeah, when he tore it against Jinder, literally the next 2 days, said it's a torn MCL. He might not make it to Mania. He did end up making it to Mania. This one's been a bit weird. It's been what, nearly 6, 7 days now, and we still don't know what the length of the injury is. This makes me think either he was working the match with a minor injury and they just planned it as a major injury. So when he does come back, he'll be back much before the time they said. So they'll say 9 months. He'll be back in what, 2, 3 months or even sooner than that. The second case scenario is that he is actually injured. He just did mess his knee up. It's not out of the possibilities. He's done that many times before. Won't be his last. He said himself. The other one I'm thinking is that it's just a total work. The company are trying to workers, they're trying to make this cash in somehow better than the heist of the century, which is going to be hard to top. So they knew they couldn't just give Seth an original cash in. It couldn't just be like a normal cash in. It had to be something out of the extraordinary. And this would be something out of the extraordinary. If no one's seen it coming, Cena or 08 Rumble return, no one saw that coming after 2, 3 months. He's meant to be out for 8, 9 months. Hence, that was a real injury. But this one, they were just trying to work the fans. I wouldn't be surprised at that. And somehow it has leaked into the media. Someone's told me that it might not be like, I think Sean at Fightful goes that first he thought it was legitimate. Last few days he's not really sure what's happening. So yeah, The whole thing I found really weird. If it isn't work, fair enough, yeah. You worked most of us. If it's not a work, then hope Seth gets well soon because most of the stories are relying on him. But if you were asking me, I'd say he did probably get a minor injury, but he'll be back very soon, and I would not be surprised to see him at SummerSlam.
I think that would be the best. If it is a minor injury, the best thing to do is have him cash it in on Punk at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
But yeah, you're right, Danny. It's a bit weird. They haven't come out and said the full extent of his injury. Seth himself hasn't said anything as well. Um, I'm not sure if it's a work, man. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird because, like, to me, it's a bit of a stupid route to go, in my opinion. What to just randomly have him injure himself and like write him off? Like it wasn't, especially with him being Mr. Money in the Bank. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a legit injury. And they're not going to strip Seth off the briefcase as well. So I think that tells
yeah,
us it's a minor injury. Otherwise, they could have ran a storyline. If it was a major injury, they could have ran a storyline where I don't know, Paul Heyman decides to give the briefcase to Braun, and then let's say Braun cashed it in, and became champ, and then by the time Seth comes back, that's your match for
yeah.
Mania. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how they use Seth coming back from his injury. Yeah, but obviously, I think that has messed up with SummerSlam's plans. I'm not sure about you, but I do feel like, what do you think? Do you think the original match for Seth was at SummerSlam? Do you think it
I
was Roman?
think it was Seth. I think because it's the first two-night SummerSlam, they're trying to make it as big as possible. The night one main event was going to be Seth v Roman. I think that was the match, and now they're about to pivot. We talk about Roman Reigns' return, but I think the plan now is probably Roman and Jay against the Bronsons. I think that is where they'll pivot.
Wait, why
Which
they be calling the Bronsons? Bron's name's Bron.
Bronson Steiner is his original name, innit? But yeah, I feel like
He should change his name to Bronson.
he should, man. Yeah, you know what I'd prefer? I'd prefer Roman v Braun. Just give us a straight 1v1 match
Do
with
you know
them
what it
two.
is? That's the better match. That's a spectacle. But how many weeks is like 2 weeks till SummerSlam? It's not enough time to build
Oh
something
yeah,
like that,
2 weeks left.
in my opinion. And that's been the problem with WWE since WrestleMania 40, I'd say.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
storytelling has just become so short term, so like, oh, let's just get to the next pay per view or the next event. There's no long term storytelling anymore, and I don't know if it's because Triple H has ran out of ideas, but maybe the whole bloodline ending thing, not ending, but paying off with Cody and him finally winning the belt was his big, was his magnum opus, and he's become a bit limited
yeah.
since then. I'm not sure, man, but it's a storytelling problem in general going on with WWE at the moment. Like, fans just don't care about the product right now. It's just very lame. It's very boring. It's very lazy. It's like, ugh, it's a chore. I don't know. You obviously used to watch Raw and SmackDown and stuff. It's a
Bro,
chore
I
to get
consume the product, and I'm telling you, it's not as good as it was even last year. I'd say overall, it's not. There are some things I'm still enjoying in the company, but not as much I was enjoying in. I think 2023 was the perfect point. You had everything clicking. Triple H was still in his honeymoon phase. Everyone was, glazing him, saying, "Oh, this guy's the
not me.
greatest
Not
booker
me.
ever seen." But yeah, I do think there's been a dip in the product. One of the big reasons I think is TKO. I do think TKO have trying to go more mainstream, and some of the probably wrestlers Triple H wants pushing and getting pushing because of TKO. I had a report come out say that TKO are that high on Gunther because he's not selling tickets and sales, and that's one of Triple H's golden boys all the way from back NXT. If that's true or not, we'll see. But yeah, I do think TKO are a massive problem. Again, Triple H is not escaping any, security here. He is part of the problem. Some of these booking decisions have been waffled. Some of his shows have been waffled. Raw, I think, on a consistent basis, is like a 7 out of 10 every week, sometimes an 8 out of 10. SmackDown, on the other hand, is unwatchable. Now it's 2 hours. Sorry, it could be more watchable. But before, when it was 3 hours, it felt like a drug. There is no reason a show like SmackDown, which has the Bloodline, 2.0, and Praxium and all them tag teams and the women's division, you can easily squeeze that into 2 hours. You do not need that show to be 3 hours. Yeah, so yeah, I hope the product picks back up. One way to pick the product back up will be the set angle. If this is a work, I think that would be amazing. And they'd have the height of the century 2.0. But yeah, One of the things I've heard is that not I've heard. I'm not some kind of wrestling genius. One thing that I want is that instead of Seth cashing in on Punk and people being like, okay, he's not cashed in during this match, so maybe he has actually been injured. What if he comes back after Cody wins the belt and cashes in? I think that would be bigger. What do you think, Kobe?
I wouldn't mind that. But I think it makes more sense if he cashes it in on Punk.
Yeah, because he said he has wanted Punk to
Obviously,
not
Punk's on
hold
Raw
the
as well,
belt.
isn't it? Punk and
Yeah,
Gunther
yeah.
on Raw. But I wouldn't mind that at all.
But yeah, that's one thing we're not spoken about. Punk and Gunther is the SummerSlam now one main event.
We'll save that for the SummerSlam preview. We'll talk a bit more
Yeah,
about that. But yeah, obviously Roman Reigns returned on Monday Night Raw. He made the save for Jey Uso and Punk, I believe, and
yeah.
it looks like people are saying Roman and Jey versus Braun and Bronson. That's not a match yet. Obviously, Roman Reigns, he's got limited time left in WWE. We can tell he barely shows up these
Yeah,
days.
of course.
And to me, that's a waste of an appearance. Putting him in a flipping tag match that
Yeah,
doesn't mean anything. But then on the other hand, the dilemma is if you book Roman versus Braun, so that's something you could like have a better build for, innit? I don't know
that's worthy of a Mania main event right there.
exactly.
Roman against Braun, and Braun getting the
And
Raw
then we say
win.
that, but you never know. Triple H might just do that because think about it. Since Cena's come back, we've had Cena Orton with like a 3 week build on Backlash. Cena Punk with like a 3 week build on Night of Champions. I don't know. Nowadays, I don't think they care about big matches being on marquee pay per views. They see every PLE really as a thing in it with
Yeah,
this new
that's
era, the
true.
Netflix era. And speaking of TKO, with trying to get more mainstream. Yeah, before I talk about that, you talked a bit about Gunter, right? And how TKO are apparently not happy. So to me, that signals they're going to put the title on Punk, which I'm not against.
Agreed, yeah, I
I
think
think Punk deserves a title reign. I think it would be fun to watch as well, Punk with the title. Uh, but I feel bad for Gunter because it's Gunter to me. Yeah, he's like the perfect package. Like he's got the look, he's got the build, he's got the mic skills. He's so funny on the mic. He's really good. He puts on classics, and he's like an old school chip of the old block heel, and we don't have that anymore. He's like a proper throwback wrestler, and it's just I don't know. Maybe if it's the sign of the times, why maybe he's not as much of a needle mover compared to other guys, but. I don't know. What do you think about Gunter? Do you think he's overrated or do you think he's
Oh no, no.
underrated? He's properly rated?
I think if Goldberg wrestled 20 years ago, he would be one of the top stars in the company, 100%. No doubt about it. You just said copy. He's got everything. He's got the build, he'll talk on the mic, he can wrestle, everything about Goldberg screams the perfect professional wrestler.
Oh, Goldberg, bro.
Unfortunately,
Gunter. We're talking about Gunter.
wait, what did I say?
You're saying Goldberg. I was
What did I
thinking
say Goldberg? But yeah, unfortunately, we're in an era where guys like Jey Uso are seen as the, face of the
TikTok
company
era, bro.
by lots
TikTok
of
era.
uh, fans. But yeah, I agree with Copy. I feel like Gunther is the perfect wrestler, but at SummerSlam, I'd have Punk win too. If there was another report that came out after starting our main event is that John Cena's last match is going to be with Gunther. I think that's perfect final match for Cena because we were all
If it's for a
speculating.
title, if it's for a title,
Yeah, we were all speculating this time last year, or when they announced Cena's retirement tour, that at Mania he would probably beat Gunther to become the 17-time world champion. They went in a whole different direction, turned him heel. But I think as fans, we've always wanted that Gunther be Cena match, and I'm happy, if the report's true that we are going to get Gunther v Cena as his last match. But yeah, man, I don't know why this.
you know what it is
Yes.
about Gunter Cena being seen as. I think it's kind of lost its appeal now that Cena's got
Mm.
17 already. If that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. But we've still got a whole run of Cena as a babyface. I think he turns babyface as soon as SummerSlam's finished. I think during the
You
weeks
think
because
so?
he's working all 4 weeks leading up to Clash in Paris. So maybe there's some storyline arc there. Maybe someone slowly brings him. I really hope it's AJ Styles at Clash in
But
Paris.
surely to me, I think that signal Cena's going to retain at SummerSlam. if he's gonna be here a lot afterwards, which is weird. Why has he not
Maybe.
shown up for
Yeah.
the build for SummerSlam? That's the big event.
I found out
2 nights.
weird, because he's on tonight's episode. This episode will probably go out tomorrow or Sunday. But yeah, he is here in tonight's episode. They got a contract signed with Cody Rhodes, and I think he's at the final SmackDown before SummerSlam, if I remember correctly. But yeah, only turning up 2 weeks after Night of Champions is kind of weird. Like you'd expect him to be there more to build the feud with Cody. But yeah, I'm actually really surprised that they're doing this again. Like if it was me, I would. There's no interest in this match at all between Cody and Cena. They've got to do something in today's episode and the night before SummerSlam to build some. Just give this match a stipulation. Actually, no one wants to see another straight Cody Cena match. We've seen that. I mean, yeah, even before the Travis Scott entrance, it was not a good match. I did not like that match at all.
I think that's hard. I think it was a decent match. I think it was a
It was
well worked
decent, but it
match.
wasn't as good as I expected it to be. To be honest, as a like, come on, a main event, you meant to have something special there. I say
Yeah, the
give this,
finish was lame. The finish was lame.
yeah, I
100%.
say give this stipulation. You know what the perfect stipulation for this will be? An I Quit match. You have Cody finally,
Yes.
you have
Yes.
Cody finally go into his dark side and make Cena quit, bro. I think we had a yeah we had a match with Cody and AJ, an I Quit match, and I think it was in Clash
Clash at the
in
Castle. Yeah.
Clash Castle last year, yeah. And Cody never hit Styles with the steel steps until after he said Agwe, which I found weird. I'd say you have the steps in your hand and you're not really hitting it until after he
You
said
know what, Danny?
Agwe.
This is at. You've got me salivating at this for like. Imagine they do a I Quit match and they use it as a tool to do like a Bret Hart Austin situation, a double
Oh,
turn.
perfect.
That would be amazing storytelling, but unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. But
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And it's not like they don't Agwe matches for often, they do leave them for the special occasions. And I do think this
I
is the
think this would
perfect
suit it.
use.
This would be
Yeah,
perfect
perfect use
because
of Agwe match.
if you think about it, the I Quit match is the ultimate guaranteed win for both Cena and Cody. Yeah, Cena's never lost the I Quit match.
Yeah, I think it's
Cody's never
5-0
lost
in
the I
Agwe
Quit
matches.
match. So this is the perfect match to do. I agree with you, Danny. This would be the perfect stipulation. It will be very interesting as well. Very interesting. Like
Yeah,
who argues for the stipulation? Will it be Cena or will it be Cody? I can see it being Cena.
yeah,
I
I
don't
could
know
see me
why.
seeing it too.
Because you know how Cena brought up to Punk, oh, I want it in Saudi, like with the smirk. I imagine he does something like that. I want an
Yeah,
I Quit match with a smirk. Like he's got something up his sleeve. But yeah, I think we're gonna see Travis Scott again during this match.
really.
I have a feeling,
Talking
obviously,
of Travis Scott, there's been reports that the company, don't really see him because he's not been moving as a proper wrestler apparently. So yeah, I think there was a report that came out the other day was that he's not really impressed people backstage of his wrestling because they were meant to run the Travis Scott, Cena, and Logan Paul again. I think it's probably going to be the Usos and Cody Rhodes. So they took out Jimmy and they took out Travis Scott and just made it a 2-on-2 tag match. What do you think of that, copy?
what Cody and
What do you think of Travis Scott just, not really making it as a wrestler?
I feel like it's more of a case of they saw the backlash for Travis Scott being at Mania and deciding the match, and they're kind of like trying
That's
to
true, yeah.
slowly like get away from Travis Scott because if I'm being honest, I think the direction I genuinely think the direction was Travis Scott and Cena versus Cody and Bad Bunny. I genuinely think that's what they had planned, but yeah, they saw the backlash and they decided to pivot. Obviously, The Rock's told W to fuck off. Basically, he's promoting the Smashing Machine. I still think Travis Scott was a bit of a fuck you to WWE from The Rock as well. Like, because obviously for what happened at last year's Mania, Triple H, Triple H gets away with a lot, Like Triple H, the fact that he knew The Rock was coming back, yeah, and he still booked Cody to win. To me, that was trying to say fuck you to The Rock. So The Rock's just simply returned the favor in it with the whole turning Cena heel and Travis Scott shit. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you can tell they were trying to sell this event. Yeah, first ever 2-night SummerSlam. Someone like Travis Scott would have brought in a lot of casuals. But they're still trying to tap into the celebrity market though, the mainstream market. A guy that's gonna be on the card, Mr. Jelly Roll. I've never heard one of his songs. But he has a
Same.
great story though. I saw a bit of his story. Like he didn't break into the scene until he was like 38 or 40 or something. But yeah, he's quite popular in America. There was a segment on the Jimmy Kimmel show where Randy Orton and Jelly Roll were talking, and then Drew McIntyre comes out, and yeah, Randy and Drew start brawling, and then Logan Paul comes out, and Jelly Roll choke slams him through a table, and
Yeah.
looks like we're getting a tag match: Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul and
True.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And it just leaves you scratching your head, like, why? What is the point of this match? Who does it? Who does it like benefit? Um, it's a shame to see guys like Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton being used for a match like this. It's disgraceful, to be honest.
Mm.
But we'll probably get more into that on the SummerSlam preview, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've touched on Roman. Another thing that we want to talk about. Let's talk about AEW for a quick minute or so. Well, I
Best
don't
time
know.
yet.
First time we're mentioning AEW. Obviously, Ume's not here to defend AEW, but hey, that's what you get for not showing up. But yeah, did you watch it, Danny? What did you think
Yeah,
of
yeah, I
All
watched it.
In? All In? It was
Bro,
at
this was
AT&T
it
Stadium,
was
right?
what was that?
Was it AT&T Stadium? It was at.
No, I don't think it was AT&T Stadium.
It was in Texas.
Um,
That's all I know.
let me check where it was. It was in Texas. I knew that. It was in Globe Blackfield.
Oh, fair enough. But I think
But yeah,
Adam Hangman Page won the title. I'm not really invested in AEW like that. But one match that I saw a few clips on Twitter, yeah, the tag match, Swerve and Osprey versus I think the Young Bucks.
yeah. Some of these sequences are so silly, bro. They, when you start no selling every move, it just makes it look stupid. Like I get okay, you can no sell a few, but no selling every move just makes it look stupid. And the whole story was if the Young Bucks lost, they lost their EVP status, and Bill Osprey and Swerve Strickland are apparently the new EVPs of the company. So yeah, I found the whole thing stupid. The actual match before it got silly, I think it was fine. A good match. Dave gave it, I think, 5.5 stars
Good old
or
Dave.
something stupid like that. Yeah, but the
Oh,
main event, just want to touch on the main event. I really enjoyed the main event. I feel like this was Hangman's redemption arc. He turned heel before with with the feud with Swerve Strickland, and this was his full moment. He came out with his original. Have you heard his theme song? I really like his theme song. Adam Page's.
well, Hangman Page.
Yeah,
Is it still the cowboy one? The whole.
because
I
he,
don't.
he
I
got
don't know.
he got a new heel one, and the one he had first was
Oh,
actually really good, and I really liked that one. He came out. It was a good match, to be honest. One thing I'd say I hate about WWE fans is they complain about too much blood or too much hardcore. The match is actually called Texas Death Match. Is of course it's going to be a hardcore match. Wrestling fans, stop being so. I don't want to say the word yet, but come on, man up a bit. It's wrestling. We've seen hardcore matches in WWE. It's wrestling. It's part of wrestling. It's a style of wrestling. Grow up. So yeah, the action match I think was fine. At the end, they tried to run this back like Roman and Cody Mania 40. They had, I think it was Brian came out, Darby came out. They were like the two big
mm,
returns that came out. And yeah, Hangman Under Page won, and Moxley's reign of terror was over with the Death Riders.
yeah,
Good
I'm
stuff
not
to be
really
honest.
locked into AEW like that, so I can't really comment on the stories and stuff. But yeah, speaking of Osprey and Swerve versus the Young Bucks, the sequences I was seeing, yeah, I was like, this is not wrestling, bro. This is gymnastics. This is stupid. This to me, it's disrespectful to the art that is professional wrestling. It's like when you're no selling area, there's no Canadian destroyers into super kicks into barge. It's just stupid, man. To me, that's not wrestling. I'm not a fan of the Young Bucks, to be honest with you. I just think they're very overrated. I mean, they're very athletic. I give them credit, but just to me, that's not what wrestling should be. It's wrestling is storytelling, and they can't tell a story. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. They can do as many fancy moves as they want, but I don't see them as wrestlers. I see them more as like gymnasts. But yeah, let's move on from AEW. Let's talk a little bit about NXT. So I think Undertaker is going to appear on the next episode of NXT to confront Trick Williams. Like
Yeah.
about something he said about LFG, which is kind of hilarious. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, the whole thing's hilarious. I think it's just an excuse to get Taker on NXT and just have a segment with Trick Williams. I
I
mean,
mean,
it'll
I
be
think
great for.
Taker. Have you seen? I don't know if you saw, but I think Taker's taken an interest in like the creative side
Yeah,
of
he
getting
has.
involved,
I've heard that too. Yeah, and
which
I'm not surprised to be honest.
think that will be. I think it's a solid addition to the team because Taker's got fucking an abundance of experience and knowledge. I
Yeah,
see people, the IWC, yeah, they hate on the Undertaker for his political beliefs and all that, and say, "Oh, he's just an old man. He's out of fashion, out of touch, blah blah blah. He was Vince's best friend, blah blah blah." But bro, the disrespect I see on the Undertaker's name
oh yeah,
is
of
crazy.
course.
Bro. These days, I see people say Taker's overrated as a wrestler as well. Like, huh?
Stupid,
What you guys
stupid.
on?
Yeah,
Undertaker
but
is the great. Whether you find it corny or not, Undertaker is the greatest character in wrestling history. Who think about who else could do a gimmick, 30-year gimmick here of being a flipping dead man? Come on, it's Mark Calloway. Put some respect on his name. I think if I'm Triple H, I mean his buddies with Triple H and Shawn Michaels anyway, so it makes sense. Bring him in, man. Yeah, it's only good things can happen now. Undertaker being involved with the production and the creative. So yeah, I'm
do you know
all
who
for it.
Undertaker's favorite wrestler is?
What right now?
Yeah, he's
Nah,
mentioned it a few times.
who is
It's
it?
Gunther. If Triple H, if Undertaker gets control of creative, Gunther is holding that belt for such a long time, and I don't blame him. Gunther is the perfect wrestler, and Undertaker sees that. So I don't really mind it to be honest. I think Undertaker's a great mind to have
It's
on
just
creative.
it's a different era now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's
exactly.
not about storytelling anymore. But
Yeah, I love that.
is what it is, man. Speaking of other wrestling events, I think TNA Slammiversary is on Sunday. I
This
believe
Sunday.
this is being filmed before SmackDown. SmackDown's on the air actually. Um, yeah. Reports are saying that the phenomenal one AJ Styles could be making his long-awaited return to home
They've
TNA.
basically confirmed it now. He's gonna be there.
Wow.
Yeah, bro,
Um,
I can't wait for that.
whether he's in a match or he just appears.
They haven't said anything. They just said he's going to be at the show on Sunday. Because at the end of TNA last night, they had like a promo, and it was AJ Styles, all his old, memories at TNA. Just like I think it was a 2 minute video, and then they announced it today. Oh, he'll be there on Sunday. But I can't wait for this. AJ Styles is literally Mr. TNA. This guy has done everything in TNA. He's won everything in TNA. He's got some of the best matches, some of the best feuds, bro. Everything. This guy is literally Mr. TNA. And seeing him back in TNA, bro, it's gonna be. I remember, when I was like, must be 9 or 8. TNA used to come preview. I think it was on Bravo, if I remember correctly.
Bravo, Challenge, all those
Bravo,
shows.
bro. TNA used to be free to watch, and I used to watch that all the time.
The six
And
side
TNA,
ring, so good.
bro, and AJ Styles used to be there because I think he was a regular until 2014. I think he left. So yeah, all through them years he was there. Having some of the best matches, feuds, and he was just some like if you watch the AJ Styles, you love him. Like if you're an AJ Styles hater, yeah, just piss off because you can't hate that guy. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. Seeing him back in his home, seeing him back in TNA is just gonna be amazing,
Bro,
bro.
he's done it. He's accomplished greatness everywhere. TNA, New Japan, and WWE. Like,
One of
what,
the greatest ever.
what more do you want? I think
But
how
yeah,
long has he got left now on his WWE deal?
um, he signed
Two
a he signed an extension until he signed a 1 year extension.
till I think next year will be his
I think
last.
he'll retire next year as well.
Do
I
you
think
think
the
he'll
end of
retire? Or do you think he'll just go to another
no, no,
company?
no. He's nearly 50. That guy's retiring. He's not going
Plus, I know
again.
AJ Styles is a big gamer. He's trying to get his gaming
Yeah,
channel up as
he's
well.
got all the
So
side hustles to do. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
think he's
he's
retiring next
accomplished.
year.
He's accomplished everything, hasn't he?
He's done everything, bro. But yeah, I do wonder what he'll do at TNA. Apparently, they gonna hold a TNA Hall of Fame soon. I mean, the perfect first name to get in is literally AJ Styles.
Don't they
He's
have
Mr.
a TNA
TNA.
Hall of Fame already?
I'm not sure.
I'm
I'm
pretty
not
sure
tapped
they do.
into
I'm pretty sure
TNA like that.
I
But yeah,
think
I
Kurt
think they
Angle's in
probably induct him into the Hall of Fame.
it. Yeah,
TNA Hall of Fame
I'm pretty sure they already have one.
inductees. Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
I
think he'll
remember Kurt
probably get
Angle was
inducted.
inducted in it.
I think he'll probably get inducted into the TNA Hall of Fame. Maybe if he has a segment with someone, I
I
don't
think
know
he's
who
got,
that
he's
could
got to
be.
have one. I think they should give him Because I'll be real, AJ Styles in WWE now on the main roster, he's not really being used that much, in my opinion, in the best way. So I feel like, why not give him like a 2-3 month run in TNA give him one last run with the TNA World Title? That would be so beautiful. I think.
Saying that, he's got a match against Dominic at SummerSlam. Maybe if he wins the Intercontinental Championship and defends that at TNA, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest.
Maybe. Yeah,
That'd
but
be
I don't know.
good.
For nostalgia, I reckon if AJ Styles had a little run with the TNA World Title, and like let's say he defended it in WWE shows as well, I think that would do a lot for TNA.
But
And I think AJ,
remember that old TNA belt he used to have, bro.
yeah, wow,
Used to be one of my favorite belts ever.
yeah. And if
Yeah,
AJ Styles is coming back for a little run in TNA, bring back his TNA theme, getting ready to fly.
he doesn't like that team actually. He actually doesn't like that team. But yeah, I hope he does come back with that.
Gotta bring that back. But I love his WWE theme as well. Though, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Remember they tried to change that last year for like a year and he messed up.
fucking Death Rebel.
Stupid guys, man.
I'm hearing they're gonna get rid of Death Rebel soon. Apparently, they're
Hopefully,
gonna
man.
start.
Hopefully that happens.
They're gonna start giving actual songs to wrestlers. What do you think about
Hopefully,
that?
yeah. Oh yeah, because they were talking about Seth Faction getting a new theme song and it was gonna be like a mainstream celebrity or something.
Yeah, I can see them doing that now. TK will probably do
Yeah.
that, but it's gonna probably be like TikTok artists and stuff like
Oh yeah.
Imagine they got fucking Sabrina Carpenter for Tiffany and. But yeah, one last thing I want to touch on. SmackDown is airing right now, and this report's saying that Solo and Jacob's going to be a steel cage match, which is all right, but I don't know about you, Danny. Steel cage in 2025 is so useless. It's like, I don't know, have you seen that meme of the security guard when he's just patting them down in the ring? Like, bro, every steel cage match in recent years just ends in fucking interferences, and the whole point of the cage is to keep out people. It makes no sense, but yeah, what do you
The
think, Dan?
last two steel cage matches, if I remember correctly, were Punk Rollins on Raw, interference from Roman, Cody Solo on SmackDown,
Yeah.
interference from the whole bloodline. The whole purpose is to keep no one from entering inside the thing game, and every bloody match around these days is just stupid.
And
But yeah,
I remember on the Raw anniversary, they had Bailey, they advertised Bailey Becky Lynch as a steel cage match, and it was like, it was just a segment. They didn't even
it
have a
was cut off
match.
because they didn't have enough time.
But I don't know. I think the steel cage is so disrespected these days. They put it on throwaway SmackDowns and Raws, and I don't know. Maybe it coming back to SummerSlam is a good thing, but I want to see steel cage matches being used properly again. But
Saying
yeah, I
that
feel
the
like that's
last
pretty much
solo,
most.
I was gonna say the last solo
Yeah.
steel cage match was actually good, so he could have a good match here with Jacob Fatu, and I think Jacob wins the belt back. But we'll talk about that on the SummerSlam episode.
Well, another report that I saw is WWE TK and WWE are very, very high on Jacob Fatu. They want to market this guy as their, face. Apparently, like this is huge. They're trying to get in contact with sports teams to like make
Yeah,
Jacob Fatu match. That's huge. I
I
can't
don't
lie,
blame him, man. That guy is really marketable. Great wrestler. He can talk on the mic.
bro.
I think
That's
him. I think him and Braun are going to be the two faces of the company
bro.
for the next
Football.
year.
Imagine basketball/football jerseys with Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. It's gonna be
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
mental.
But yeah, that's gonna bring in a lot of money. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to cover from the world of wrestling, WWE, TNA, blah blah blah. But yeah, man, debut episode of the yet unnamed show, weekly wrestling roundup. But yeah, that was me and your boy DK. See you guys for the next one.